The Louvre heist, Napoleon's stolen jewels. The day of the heist. October 19th, 2025. Paris wakes up to a calm, gray morning, but on the banks of the Seine, an audacious plan is already in motion. 4 men arrive from the Quai de Seine, 2 on large scooters, 2 inside a white van carrying a mobile lift platform. The area is full of construction vehicles, cranes, trucks, barriers, so no one notices the newcomers wearing bright yellow safety vests, just like the real workers who had been there for months. They raise the lift toward a window on the first floor of the Louvre's Denon wing, right where the Galerie d'Apollon is located. Once level with the window, they pull out a circular saw. Sparks fly. In a few seconds, the window frame gives way. They climb inside. They already know exactly where to go. Within moments, the men break into the glittering hall that houses the French crown jewels. 2 quick blows. Glass shatters. They grab 8 priceless objects: diadems, emerald necklaces, and brooches once belonging to Napoleon's family. Then, as silently as they came, they vanish back through the same window. The entire operation lasts less than 7 minutes. The alarm and the response. According to France's Ministry of Culture, the security alarms did activate, both on the window and the shattered display cases. But the thieves' precision was so fast that even the immediate response wasn't enough. The ministry later explained that, as soon as the alarms triggered, the 5 museum agents present in the room and nearby areas followed protocol. They contacted law enforcement and prioritized the safety of visitors. It all happened in seconds. Too late to stop the thieves, but fast enough to prevent panic or injuries. By the time police entered the hall, the jewels were already gone. What was stolen? The stolen pieces belong to the most dazzling period of French history. Among them, a sapphire and diamond tiara and matching necklace and earrings once worn by Queen Marie-Amélie and Hortense de Beauharnais. The sapphire tiara, 24 Salon sapphires and over 1,000 diamonds, embodied the continuity between monarchy and empire. An emerald and diamond necklace and matching earrings from the parure of Empress Marie-Louise, Napoleon's second wife. The necklace, composed of 32 emeralds, some shaped like teardrops, others like lozenges, was surrounded by 1,138 diamonds. Napoleon I himself had gifted these jewels to Marie-Louise in 1810 on the occasion of their marriage. Originally, the set included a magnificent diadem, later sold in 1971 to American heiress Marjorie Merriweather Post. She would ultimately donate it to the Smithsonian Institution in Washington, where the jewel still gleams today. And a brooch, a bow clasp, and a tiara of Empress Eugénie, wife of Napoleon III. Another masterpiece was the tiara of Empress Eugénie, created especially for her wedding to Napoleon III. A miracle of craftsmanship adorned with 212 pearls and 1,998 diamonds, many of them taken from the historic French crown jewels. It was the very crown she wore as she walked into the church, a symbol of beauty, power, and the empire's last great illusion. 2 additional jewels also vanished: the reliquary brooch of Empress Eugénie, crafted in 1885, and the grand corsage bow, a decorative jewel with shimmering tassels that may once have adorned a royal belt. Empress Eugénie's creations celebrated the glamour of the Second Empire. Eugénie's imperial crown, set with 1,354 diamonds and 56 emeralds, was found later, damaged and abandoned not far from the museum. Too heavy, too recognizable. Authorities estimate the loot's market value in the tens of millions of euros, though its cultural worth is, quite literally, priceless. These jewels were not just ornaments. They were symbols of legitimacy and divine power. Many of these treasures survived the French Revolution, reclaimed and later displayed in the Galerie d'Apollon, side by side with the legendary Regent diamond, a 140-carat gem once mounted on Napoleon's sword. Curiously, the thieves left it untouched. Perhaps too famous, too perfect, or simply impossible to sell. The Galerie d'Apollon. Long before Versailles, the Louvre had already conceived the first royal gallery of France, a place where architecture and art met in pure experimentation. It was here, in this dazzling corridor of light and marble, that the French monarchy began shaping its image of divine power. Just 20 years later, this very space would inspire an icon of French classicism, the Hall of Mirrors at the Palace of Versailles. On the vaulted ceiling, Charles Lebrun painted the god Apollo guiding his chariot across the heavens, a radiant allegory of the sun's eternal triumph. Every brushstroke was a hymn to royal glory, a vision of the cosmos ruled by light, and a declaration that the power of the Sun King extended over the entire universe. A perfect robbery. The robbery was military in precision. The thieves used the construction chaos outside as camouflage, striking at the exact weak point. They moved with such coordination that experts now believe they had inside knowledge of the museum's schedule and security patterns. No one shouted, no one ran. And when the alarms went off, the heist was already over. Investigators fear the jewels have already been dismantled, gems detached, melted, or sold piece by piece on the black market. A tragic fate shared by countless stolen masterpieces. Because once a jewel is cut apart, it loses its identity, but keeps its price. France's culture minister called it a wound to our national heritage. President Emmanuel Macron added, "This was not just theft. It was an assault on our memory." Symbol and legacy. Behind the sparkle, these jewels carry stories of ambition, love, and revolution. They were the visual language of Napoleonic power, every facet a declaration of destiny. Their loss is not just material. It's the erasure of a narrative that shaped modern Europe. Will these jewels ever return? Perhaps not. Perhaps they will live forever in legend, like the empire they once crowned. If this story moved you, leave a like, subscribe, and share. Because remembering art's past is the only way to protect its future.